Whoa! What's up, guys? Once again, I am broadcasting from the black site, which cannot be named. I hope this is coming through. The Wi-Fi here, 40 miles below the Earth's surface, is a little challenging, of course, but we're trying to get it done. UFC 229 discussion. Feel free to leave your comments. I want to hear what you guys thought about how the weekend went. What the heck? Hawk says, what the heck happened after the fight? Idiots. Yeah. Now people blame the racial discord. They blame the nationalistic discord. They blame the bad blood between Conor and Khabib. Truly, this is no surprise. It's no different. This stuff happens all the time in sports. It happens all the time, specifically in combat sports, right? We remember the Nick Diaz, Jason Mayhem Miller altercation. Was that Strikeforce, I believe. We remember the Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield brawls in probably every other boxing card since then. Conor McGregor fights have no lack of drama, and I believe he's masterful in creating that drama. Khabib, I believe him jumping out of the octagon made him an international star, bigger than ever, because that shows Khabib's true heart. Khabib is a sportsman. He says that. I believe he actually operates under that, paradigm. I believe Khabib is that type of individual, but then allegedly pushed so far into the drama of the fight in that high adrenaline-induced moment, jumped the octagon to attack Dylan Dennis, who is Conor McGregor's friend and training partner and jiu-jitsu coach of sorts. People jump in the octagon in and out. So what does it come down to, guys and girls? It comes down to what? Drama, and everybody's talking about it. I'm doing a video on it right now. We're all consuming the content on it. But does it matter? Does it really matter? Does it really matter? I think what we saw, now let's break it down. Let's go back into the fight for a minute. I think Khabib Nurmagomedov did an amazing job dismantling the two-division champion in Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is an amazing fighter. You have to give him credit. No matter what you say about the man, he starched Jose Aldo. He starched Chad Mendes. He starched Eddie Alvarez. He starched a list of guys, tough guys of different styles on his way up. Conor McGregor's the real deal. Khabib went out there and just dismantled him. Now, Conor's getting a lot of credit, well-deserved credit, for not getting run through by Khabib where everybody thought Conor would. Conor is definitely on a high-level learning track, similar to what we could say George St. Pierre was when he realized wrestling was a weak part. Conor McGregor might be able to come back over the next year if he really applies his heart and mind and focus and lifestyle to becoming a world-class grappler. He might be able to do that because he made Khabib work. And I'm friends with Khabib. I'm friends with Khabib's friends. I'm then training partners. I even work with some of his training partners. And I know the real deal behind the scenes. Khabib destroys guys. Khabib destroys 200-pound high-level D1 wrestlers. Khabib destroys these guys. So Conor had a lot of success, but that doesn't mean it was a competitive fight. It means Conor deserves the respect of doing well, better than people thought he would in the grappling exchanges. But at the same time, Khabib made it look relatively easy. He had answers for everything Conor had, and Khabib dominated most positions of the fight, even dropping Conor with an overhand right. Boom. That's a big one. That's a big thing. That'd be like Conor hitting a big double leg on Khabib and running him across the octagon and planting him down in his own corner. That would be the equivalent. And holding him there for a minute or two. That didn't happen. So Khabib dropping Conor like that That was a big evolution in Khabib's game, and that must be noted. I think Javier Mendez up at AKA deserves a lot of credit for that because he's been working with Khabib on just that, on his striking, creating a much more well-rounded mixed martial artist in Khabib Nurmagomedov by not dumbing down Khabib's wrestling, by bringing Khabib's striking up to it. This is the problem a lot of athletes and a lot of coaches have. You've seen a lot of high-level wrestlers, world-class wrestlers, D1 wrestlers, all-American wrestlers, get into MMA, win their fights, first few fights on wrestling, drop a guy, knock a guy out, have a little bit of success with their striking, and all of a sudden they forget about their wrestling to focus on their striking. So their black belt wrestling drops to a purple belt. Their white belt striking moves up to a blue and maybe purple belt. But what happens? Now they're just a well-rounded purple belt. What Khabib did and Javi Mendez has done, they took a black belt grappler in Khabib and they brought his striking up to that black belt level of his wrestling. Now, that's a distinction you don't see very often. They deserve a lot of credit for that. Let me go through and answer some of these questions. Brandon, what's up? Greg, is training CrossFit fasted good? No, it's not. Jag says, both guys lost in my eyes. Nick, service is great. That's good to know. The ending was bad for the sport, but great for TV. I agree. Bad for the sport, great for entertainment. It is sports entertainment. Hawk, 2 wrongs don't make a right. That wasn't martial arts. I agree with that. It was not. Is bottled water good for you? Why do you recommend I take to school so we're hydrated? I wouldn't say bottled water is the best, but bottled water is better than no water at all. Maggie, hello, Maggie. John Kavanaugh should be informative. I agree. Jacoby, does anyone know what Dan is? Danis was saying, I don't know any of that. Do you want to see a rematch? I don't think yet. I think Tony Ferguson clearly deserves the shot at the title. If Khabib, now here's the thing, because Khabib broke the rules, he hopped over the octagon, he jumped into the crowd. The Nevada State Athletic Commission is going to penalize. They are going to punish Khabib. I think most likely what they're going to do, they're going to hit him with a couple $100,000 fine on his $2 million disclosed purse. They're going to probably hit him for about $250,000 or so, I'm assuming. And they're going to give him likely a 6-month suspension. I don't think they'll go as far as a 12-month suspension. They'll give him a 6-month suspension, something along those lines, which will set up a fight for Khabib and Tony Ferguson, maybe Super Bowl weekend next year. Who knows? Whatever the timeline. That'll actually be passed into April. However that works out, I think that would be the next fight. If Khabib can't come back, if he's stripped, if he's out for a year or more, he might certainly be stripped. If that's the case, then the title becomes free again, and likely it would be Conor versus Tony Ferguson. That would be the most logical one. Outside of that, I can't see because Kevin Lee's out there, but Kevin Lee already lost to Tony, so that's not a fight to make. Anthony Pettis did a great job, but he's lost and coming off a broken hand. You got Dustin Poirier fight Nate Diaz. That actually should be a good one. One of those guys could jump the slot. I would probably say Poirier because he's been a little more active right now. But once they do fight, if Nate goes out there and beats Dustin, that's the definite #1 contender. That's a big money fight. So the matchups to make, and I posted this on my Twitter account at the Dolce Diet. If you check out Twitter, you can actually go and take a look at the poll that I popped out. Who do you want to see next? Conor versus Khabib 2? Khabib versus Tony for the title? Or Conor versus Khabib for the vacant title? Which fight do you think should happen? That's out on our Twitter page. Excuse me. Dennis, do you want to see a rematch? Tony Ferguson versus Khabib in Russia. What do you think? No, I don't think Russia's a place to make a fight like this. I think Las Vegas is the place. Las Vegas has all the crazy you need to have a big fight like this. So that's going to bring big crowds. It's going to bring big crowds. And if you got Tony fighting on the card, Tony Ferguson's going to bring a lot of the Southwest U.S. To the fight. Khabib is a beast. Do you see anyone beating him at all? For sure. There's good matchups. Khabib is a beast. I love Khabib. He is a beast. They're all good, man. They're all on any given day. Any given day, these guys can get it done. What I think happens with Khabib rises to the level of his opponent. When Khabib fought Al Iaquinta, Al did well. One could say Al did better than Conor because Al went all 5 rounds. Khabib had a little bit of trouble early on when he fought Dan Hooker. Now, most people don't know who Dan Hooker is. He's a good journeyman mixed martial artist. Khabib had a little trouble with him in many ways. Those are just two of the fights that I remember at the moment. That doesn't mean Khabib's bad. I just think Khabib fights at the speed and level to stay just a step of his opponent. So when he's fighting a guy like Conor, he's all in, full throttle. When he's fighting maybe a Dan Hooker, he's only in that third gear, fourth gear, maybe just enough to stay ahead a little bit. So it's awesome. It's interesting to see who he fights next and how that matchup will work. Mike Lee says there is no USADA in Dagestan. Also, it has been proven that PEDs can change one's body forever. Just look at Cyborg. Larry Lee, awesome to see you, Coach. I've been loving living lean, and the food is incredible, and I'm finally seeing my weight increase. As my waist gets smaller. You are the truth, Dolce. Larry Lee is following the DolceDiet.com 12-week living lean program, completely personalized for you. Every meal, every ingredient, every recipe, every exercise, every set, every rep is specifically personalized to you, to your lifestyle, to your goals, all at the DolceDiet.com. You can get in the best shape of your life, eating real food, eating carbs, eating fruit, eating grains, eating potatoes. My goodness, we even have pancakes and chili and pastas. We just teach you how to eat it, when to eat it, and what proportion to eat it. That's all at thedolcediet.com. If you care about just being lean and sexy and strong and all that stuff, you should probably go to thedolcediet.com. Eon, stylistically, Conor was always at a disadvantage, but I thought he would pull something out of his ass. Conor's good, man. Conor doesn't get the respect that he deserves. I think he's a great fighter. He's beaten great fighters, and people look at him and they don't see why he's special. But when Eddie Alvarez is standing in front of him, and when Jose Aldo's standing in front of him, and when Chad Mendez is standing in front of him, man, and when Floyd Mayweather's standing in front of him, Conor looked good against Floyd. Conor did not look like an amateur against Floyd. Conor looked like he was in a competitive match with a world-class, one of the best pure boxers on the planet. Conor looked good in that fight, right? He looked good. So you got to give Conor McGregor credit, man. Hey, Mike, will we get to see you on Joe Rogan's podcast again in the future? I hope so. I know there's lots of great stuff for Mr. Rogan and I to discuss, and lots of stuff. I think the conversation will pull back the layers on all the truth for you guys to listen to. So I would love for Joe to interview or really just grill me down and deep. I'd love to see that go down. Can you lift heavy fasted, or do you recommend just cardio, lightweight, high reps? You can lift heavy fasted, but not as heavy as if you were lifting while fed. That being said, we try and have our low-intensity training sessions earlier in the day, and we have high-intensity glycolytic training sessions, usually between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. after you've had 2 to 4 feeding sessions. Laura, I'm disappointed what happened. And now McGregor says looks forward to the rematch. So it looks like something hyped. Conor's already selling his next fight. Conor's not silly. I don't see Conor coming back anytime soon. I don't think Conor comes back until spring probably, because he's going to, I'm sure, live the life of a multi-deca millionaire. And enjoy the holidays and travel the world and things like that. Plus, he needs time to refine and get better. I think Conor should be on the GSP schedule, fighting once or twice a year maximum. I'd like to see Khabib versus Tony, and then Conor come back and fight the winner of that, or Conor fight the winner of Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier. I'm doing Mick Maynard's job right now and Sean Shelby's job. If, let's say, Nate Diaz goes out there and beats Dustin Poirier, that's Conor versus Nate Diaz. That's the next fight for sure. Nate Diaz can also jump the line and fight straight for the title. Nate would probably fight Conor instead, I would assume, because it's a much bigger payday. If somehow it was for a belt, maybe the vacant belt, because they stripped Khabib, ooh, then things get really interesting. I would see it immediately. If they strip Khabib, let's say he's out for a year. They strip Khabib, Poirier, and Nate. They fight. I think they're fighting soon. Are they fighting in New York? I forget right now. They go out there, and let's say they fight within the next 2 months or so. Nate wins the fight. Nate versus Conor all day long. Rematch for the vacant title. Duh. That's the biggest fight ever. Not the right fight. It's not the right fight. It's not the fair fight for the sport, but that's the fight that probably gets made. Dexter Brown, how about some more YouTube workouts? I like it, Dexter. Yes, we will. Once they release me from this black site. We'll see. Khabib versus Tony, easy. Conor can wait. Okay. Khabib versus Tony. Okay. There's more. Brandon, having a discussion with someone doing keto, eating the Dolce way. Wouldn't we be fat adapted? Isn't that using fat as energy depending on which energy system? Well, fat adapted not in the version that the keto people think it actually works. What we do, when I call it an ordered, the Dolce diet, you're simply following an ordered eating program instead of a disordered eating program. All the exclusionary diets are disordered by definition. Keto would be, carnivore would be, even vegan. Certain types of vegan would be a disordered version. I say that respectfully because disordered creates a unhealthy relationship with food that has serious metabolic physiological consequences. Now, I like plant-based. I like the vegan concept much more than the carnivore. I'm on record as saying that, and I've said that for decades now. I have never flip-flopped on this. Although I'm not a vegan and we don't first support a heavily plant-based nutrition program with wild-caught animal nutrient sources. What could that be? That could be as simple as an unfertilized egg. No possibility of it turning into a live chicken. We could start there. We could start into cottage cheese and Greek yogurt and whey. That would be a very humane way to collect. I mean, you think about the old school farms. They would churn their butter and they would keep old Nellie on the farm forever, never slaughter her. There's certain ways that you can even be an ethical omnivore. Now, this is hard because when we speak in honesty. I speak to over 1,000 humans per year. Our team works with tens of thousands of humans per year. We understand what the problem, what the challenges are, and what really works in real life. Then we can go a little further and we can start to talk about wild-caught fish. And I know the ethical veganism philosophically will not agree with this, and I understand that. And I actually can have that conversation with them and see that they're right when it comes to the ethical and the philosophical approach to slaughtering mindful beings. I forget the word at this point. Sentient beings. But if we talk from a physical standpoint, a physiological standpoint, then we actually can make a very strong, and I believe a stronger case for certain type of animal nutrients, which they are. They hold, you cannot refute. There is no debating the nutrient component of certain animal products. So I can go back and forth with this quite a bit. And to answer your question, when you're following an ordered eating program such as ours, we will be burning body fat. We will be burning stored fat. We will actually be utilizing consumed fat and consumed carbohydrates stored as glycogen, expressed as glucose in the proper ways through the proper pathways that the body demands in that given time. I hope that all makes sense to you guys. This is why a conversation with like a Joe Rogan would be great, because he could keep asking the questions and drilling down deeper on this information for you guys to listen to, so you understand how it actually works and not all the BS hocus pocus that gets thrown out in bullet points into the greater fitness pop culture. Fitness is very much like politics. It's nasty, and it's a lot of deception and conflation. What we try and do here at the Dolce Diet and Fitness is we try and educate you guys, educate the public, the population on what works the vast majority of the time for the vast majority of the people. That's the information that we give, which is why we have a 100% success ratio, working with the world's greatest athletes over 20 plus years now, which is amazing, which is why we have millions of programs, products, services, books, and such in circulation being used by millions of humans around the planet, all with vastly high percentages of amazing success. But what we teach guys and girls is very simple. And that's the biggest complaint most people have against us. The stuff Dolce teaches and says is just so simple. It's just so simple. It should be simple. Ask Warren Buffett his investment strategy. It's pretty simple. What do you think of Ortiz-Liddell fight? I'm not a fan of it. I don't see. Well, I don't want to see that fight for what. I don't say that they're not allowed to fight. I'm not saying that at all. But as a fan, we've seen that fight when they were in their primes. Seeing that fight now at gentlemen of that age, specifically Chuck, I think Tito's a little younger, you know. I just don't see it. But Chuck's a grown man. He can make his decisions. His family, I'm sure, weighs in. I wish them both the best, and I wish them both health. Hey, Mike, I'll answer that. Conor does have a solid chin. Conor's got a chin. What was it like to work with Elon Musk? Mike Lee, Laura, for real, I'm interested in another Nate versus McGregor. I would like to see that do. Carrie, what do you think of Conor's conditioning coming into the fight? Looked a little flat. He did look a little flat, but Conor always looks a little flat, and I'm not disrespecting Conor. He works his ass off. Conor has a trouble going into the farther rounds. Why is that? Is it because he doesn't train intelligently? No, I believe he does. Is it because he doesn't have a good coaching system around him? No, I believe he does. Is it because he runs out of energy deeper into the fight? Yes, I believe it is. I believe it is. And I was just at the NSCA combat clinic in Las Vegas with 20 of the world's top minds in the world of combat sports. And this conversation came up as the fight was looming and Conor was even in the facility. Most of the coaches that I discussed, strength coaches down to exercise physiologists to registered dietitians, a lot of the conversation was most likely a flawed energy system. Not consuming the right foods in the right quantities at the right times for his physiology to perform in a very specific manner. And if we look back over maybe Conor's last 5 fights or so, you can see first round, 2, 3 rounds, first 3 rounds, Conor's pretty spectacular. You get a little bit deeper above that 15-minute, 20-minute phase, the last 2/3 of the fight, there seems to be a lower pace. And this is not disrespectful to him. It's just athletes are different. They have different energy usage requirements. There's different feeding and fueling standards that are necessary to understand. But we saw it in the Mayweather fight. If Conor didn't slow down, he very well could have gone the distance with Mayweather, or better yet, maybe even had the power to put him down late in the round. Who knows? Who knows? That's just my personal opinion, because we've all seen it. And that's unfortunate. And he got, pretty handily beat in that 4th round there by Khabib. It's hard. And it's hard. And that's something that, and I don't want this to be a discredit to Conor because he works his tail off. I just think he ran out of usable energy. He didn't have the proper fuel stored in his body ready to go, and he bonked out. Mike, do you season your green salad? No, we'll use like extra virgin olive oil, maybe some, balsamic vinaigrette, things like that. Very simple, though. I like the foods to have the interplay. What do you think about milk? Is it good for every human? No, it's not. Your traps are huge, Mike. That's what she said. Thank you. Rick, Khabib will be suspended and stripped, will lead to McGregor versus Ferguson for the vacant title. Conor will get the belt back. Then we'll have Conor versus Khabib, too. That's how I see it playing out. Very well, Rick. It very well could be that. Kaiser, what do you recommend doing fasted list cardio for fat? Why? Do you recommend doing fasted lists for fat loss instead of doing HIIT? And what are the benefits of doing it while fasted? Kaiser, great question. Here's the answer. I'm assuming if you're talking about doing cardio, you most likely do some other form of exercise, probably resistance. You probably lift weights or swing kettlebells or do CrossFit or maybe swim in a pool or ride a bike or play hockey or soccer or something else. When you're doing that, you're engaging in glycolytic activity. Glycolytic activity actually utilizes stored glycogen as the primary fuel source. When you're engaging in low intensity, steady state cardiovascular exercise, i.e. lists, you're now not using the glycogen, the stored glycogen, you're actually using stored body fat. So why we suggest everybody here perform list training is so you can use both forms of energy expression. Most people miss this completely. They just want to go hit and hit. So they do their little interval sprints and their Tabatas first thing in the morning, and then they go to the gym later in the day and they do their weightlifting and they burn more and more and more glycogen. They become very inefficient at burning stored body fat, and they become glycogen depleted simply because they keep bringing it down. Hence, lower PRs, less PRs, and oftentimes they enter into the overreaching syndrome. They're training too much of one sports-specific component and not enough of everything else. Their volume to intensity ratio is completely skewed, and then they start to backslide. Does that sound familiar? What we suggest, number one, knowing that you are a human, most of the people that are taking our advice tend to be humans. Therefore, if you are a human, you are a bipedal organism. You were designed to walk relatively far distances at a relatively low to moderate pace. We're simply urging you as a human to embrace your natural design to utilize your body in the manner that it was meant to move. Most people don't do that. Most people do not walk for 30 minutes per day or 30 minutes 3 days per week even. They walk from the couch to the refrigerator, from the refrigerator to their car, from their car to their office, and they slump and sit all day. Then they go to the gym and they lift weights and they think they've done something when in fact they haven't, and they might have actually done worse depending on the imbalance in their life. So again, why do we recommend LISS, low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity? Because we're trying to get you to fulfill the natural design of your body. We're trying to get you to work with your body as your body works best, as your body was intended. Not to mention what this does for the circulatory and transport environment it creates just by getting your heart to beat at a certain pace for an extended period of time. What it does, bringing nutrients and oxygen and the reduction of metabolic waste that you create during the higher glycolytic activity, such as HIIT training. Now, some people will bring studies, but HIIT burns up to 26% more body fat in a double-blind placebo-controlled study in Sweden from 1972. Therefore, it's better. It's not. That's the hocus pocus, the conflation of the pop culture fitness media. They're just trying to give you a point of differentiation, which is why, quote, a lot of what Dolce says is simple. A lot of what Dolce says is boring because it's simple and it works time and time and time and time and time and time again. We work with intelligent design. We work with your natural design. We work knowing your body is a cellular organism. That's where we start. We don't start at the bro level. So that's why we perform LISS cardio. And the benefits of doing it fasted, when we say fasted, that's in the absence of insulin, because science has shown that performing low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity while fasted in the absence of insulin has a more efficient reduction, or offers a more efficient utilization of the stored, stubborn, gender-specific body fat. Those are those hard to melt away areas. The little lower belly pooch around your belly button, the little bit of hips on the muffin top on the back of your thighs. Maybe it's the little bit of bra fat back here. The absence of insulin allows those receptors to be more readily opened and utilized. Once insulin is coursing through our body, those receptors tend to lock down. It's less efficient to utilize. It's a storage mechanism. We know that, right? We know that. I'm hoping we all know that. I think I'm the only one that knows that, though it's out there, because it's simple, right? I'm not telling you to start taking thermogenics and do these crazy exercise routines and buy these super teas and put on these trimmers and trainers and drink these powders. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying wake up, use the restroom, wash your dirty little hands, put on your cute little shoes, and just walk out your front door. 15 minutes, turn around and come home. Day started. Go from there. See? That's how it works. Lika, where you at? Man, so many questions. Jeez. Maximum Peace. Thank you for all the videos and advice. Lika, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Only. Conor needs to carb load more after weighing. He eats kind of paleo focus. And paleo doesn't work in MMA. If paleo worked in MMA, paleo would have worked 10 years ago when it came out. Keto does not work in MMA. MMA is glycolytic. It's pure. To not be completely energy sufficient inside a known 25-minute mixed martial arts competition is a failure. It's an extreme failure. It simply is. And I don't think Conor's affected by the adrenaline dump like some athletes can. I don't believe it's a matter of that. Getting dropped can definitely affect cardiovascular output. So that's something that conditioning, fight-specific conditioning, and there's different ways to define fight-level conditioning. But getting dropped can certainly have an effect. So that needs to be said also. Do you think Conor was overly cautious and tried to save his energy for later rounds and it fired? I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. It's possible. All athletes think that from time to time, but I don't know what Conor's thinking. Cutting out starchy carbs for fat loss? Yeah, that can work. Be more specific. Papa D, during the fight, there was pizza all around me, but I said no. I said no to. I didn't even watch the fights live. I fell asleep. I'm a dad. Yo. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Come on now. I ain't staying up to watch fights. I'm on the East Coast right now. I'm not staying up till midnight. Are you crazy? I'm staying up till midnight. I put my goals first. DVR, bip, done. Good night. 8:30 p.m. I'm in bed. 9 o'clock, I'm asleep. Good night. Why wouldn't I? I got my goals. Baby. Nobody. Conor McGregor's goals, Khabib Nurmagomedov's goals, Dana White's goals, the pay-per-view goals, Time Warner, Comcast TV's goals doesn't matter to me. Their time doesn't matter. I have my own goals. I was in bed. I don't care. Sorry, world. I'm not being a part of that. I'll wake up and watch it on my own terms. My own terms, damn it. Edwin, I'm trying to get big arms, bro. Hell yeah, man. Malacavelli, it's better to do carb cycling and decrease carbs around 20 grams a week or drop carbs to less than. Is it better to carb cycle and decrease carbs 20 grams a week or drop carbs to less? No, your carb intake should be based upon your energy expenditure, your output. Without knowing you specifically, I'd say anywhere between like 125 and 250 grams of carb intake for the average healthy adult who's active. That's a pretty good range, actually. That's a lot of carbohydrates. Typically, I take in maybe the 150 to 200 on the average day, and I exercise, resistance 2 to 3 times a week right now. Cardiovascular activity is probably 3 to 5. Laura or Laka. Laura, I'm doing UFC Fit program fasted. Is that good in your mind for fat loss? Laura, that is tough. I would probably do the breakfast bowl in the smoothie, the oats and berry smoothie, I think it is. Drink half of that at about 45 minutes before fit if you can. It's a hard workout, young lady. Good for you. Rick, how many times a week should you lift weights? Every other day is versus every day. Every other day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, full body, compound movements. Boom, that's the way. Have you heard about Firas Zahabi's flow state? If so, what do you think? I haven't specifically. I'll have to talk to him. I'll be seeing him soon, actually. Jamie, if you only have time to train hard in the morning, but you still want to do lifts beforehand, would it be detrimental to do both fasted? It would be. What I would do is I would eat a little bit. I get, maybe 2 slices of sprouted grain toast, a little bit of almond butter, maybe some raw honey. I chomp on that 30 minutes before the workout. I hit my hard workout, and then I would do my list afterwards when I've expended a lot of that stored glycogen. Kurt, I do 90 minutes of list 3 to 4 times a week, mostly in the woods. Feel great when I'm done. It's like a reset. That's one of the reasons that we do it. Same exact thing. We are human beings, guys and girls. People forget that. Tom, all info from Dolce is golden. Thank you. Howard, coach, just want to say thank you. Just finished living lean in 3 weeks of shredded. I went from 215 to 180, 185, give or take. I'm starting to see some abs. Just need to lose the lower ring around the gut. That is on the way. Howard McMillan, you make me very happy, my friend. Boom, I'm screenshotting that. So Howard has lost 25 pounds following the DolceDiet.com's personalized weight loss program. It's a membership program. We have a 4-week and a 12-week. The 4 weeks is 3 weeks to shredded plus a bonus week. The 12-week is the 8 weeks of living lean plus 3 weeks to shredded. It is the most successful healthy weight loss program ever devised. You can go to the DolceDiet.com right now and get started. You can use my promo code Dolce10 if you want to save 10%. If you need a program, this is the program to have. You eat real food. We teach you how to do a day of over 200 additional recipes outside of the regular program. The exercises are awesome. The video tutorials know exactly what to do. Our customer support team is here to help you when you have any questions. And it works. It works. Michael, how does Khabib fare against guys like Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee? I feel like they can stop his wrestling and are better on the feet. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why I love the fights. I can't wait to see. Tony's tough as nails, man. Kevin Lee is tough as nails. A little inconsistent, Kevin Lee. Tony's been more consistent. But maybe that's because Kevin had such terrible weight cuts in the past that he's openly discussed. So I think Tony deserves the next shot because Tony has a win over Kevin Lee. I think Tony deserves the next shot at Khabib. Hopefully Khabib keeps his belt. I followed your video. I downloaded your live video called Do You Really Want It from 2 weeks ago and blasted while I worked out. Thanks for all the motivation, Coach. These videos make a huge impact. I appreciate that. Thank you. D. Martin, good dad. Thank you, D. Martin. Lamont, my man. List your ass in these Wyoming mountains for that elk, homie. Hell yeah, Lamont. Good to see you, my friend. Hope all is well. Ooh, elk, baby. We got to talk, my friend. My freezer is actually nearly empty now. Any advice on starting to learn about nutrition, getting prepared for college? I'm in high school now. Me neither. We actually have the college diet guide. It's available on Kindle, on Nook, at Amazon.com, and at DolceDietShop.com. We wrote the book for college students called The College Diet Guide. We teach you how to eat for the first time away from home. We teach you how to eat in the dorm experience, in a apartment experience, in the suite experience, in your own house experience. We teach you how to eat on a college kids' budget. We teach you how to eat in light of all the things that are happening socially on college campuses. We help you mediate the damages. We help you understand what the positive and negative effects are of your lifestyle. And we have great recipes and all the fun stuff in there. That's the College Diet Guide, my man. Check it out. Mon Dan, hey Mike, I've tried every diet regimen under the sun. Which diet do you recommend for a 50-year-old female in menopause? Not much info out there. I work out 5 to 6 times a week and eat clean, but no weight loss. Well, Mon, I would always suggest our programs because our programs are the best. Of course, I have to strongly ensure you are following your doctor's care. You will not start any diet or exercise program without the direct supervision of your doctor. But at thedolcediet.com, we do have excellent programs. We have a 4-week and 12-week plan, probably the 12-week Living Lean program, starting with the 8-week Living Lean system. That would be ideal for you. You also have access, if you would like, to speak one-on-one with one of our registered dietitians. You can have a 30-minute consult with one of our dietitians to answer every question and take notes and get all the information you need. Or you can work with one of our registered dietitians over an 8 or 16-week period where every meal, every ingredient is created carefully for you by our registered dietitians, one specifically who becomes your registered dietitian, and you guys become BFFs. You talk, you text, you email, and our team really stays on top of you. So whatever you want to do, just so you know, Mon, that we have it available. Go to thedolcediet.com to learn more. You can click on the contact button if you have any specific questions. Marilyn, what's up, Marilyn? I did 3 weeks of shredded once. I want to do it again. Can I get a reset? Marilyn, absolutely you can. Do me a favor and just shoot a quick email to support@thedolcediet.com. because I might forget, but I will at the end of the day. I'll talk to the team and make sure that they're looking for your email and get you taken care of. That is Coach Marilyn Dixon. Larry Lee, damn, Howard, you're killing it. Howard is killing it. Crossbox, thank you, Mike, for the content. Love it. You are a source of knowledge. Is lists before sleep also effective? Let's say a couple hours after the last meal. Yes, it is. I prefer first thing in the morning, but at the end of the day is excellent also. Jamie, maybe we will see Khabib versus Dylan Dennis next. Yeah, unfortunately, that won't happen because Dylan fights for Bellator. Aaron Perez, and he hasn't earned a shot at Khabib just yet. I think Dylan's a good athlete, right? Good, all that around, but he doesn't have a resume yet to match Khabib. Aaron, how do you stay motivated and focused to continue to go to the gym? Work, school, and life can tend to be a lot to handle and becomes hard to keep track with nutrition. Any advice? I set my goals every day. Just like a shower. It's the old cliche. I set my goals every day. I sit down and set my goals every day. What will I achieve today? What I did yesterday means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. What you did yesterday means nothing. Guys and girls, it's what you do right now that matters. That's all that matters. What you do next is the only thing that matters. We've learned from the experience behind us. Hopefully we've made the right decisions that make this next decision much more efficient and easier, and there's more wisdom. But it doesn't matter, because what you do next is all that matters. So that's what I'm aware of. I try and be extremely present. I try and live in the now. That's why I like doing these lives with you instead of pre-recording and then posting. I feel like that's not even the guy I was anymore. So I can have this direct interaction with you guys. But it's right now. You set goals for right now, for today, and you crush those goals. So it doesn't matter. Remember, I'm a 42-year-old father of 2 toddlers. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old in my house. We got all sorts of crazy, awesome, crazy stuff going on in my lifestyle and our business. There's just nonstop growth and more responsibility, more responsibility. But what does that mean? It means I'm going to start letting the plates fall. I'm going to start dropping the ball. Hell no. It just means I got to be tight. I got to be sharp with my goals. That's all. And it's easy. Marius, should we be a little less strict with kids while they were young? I try to keep my daughter's food as clean as possible, but it's hard with a 2-year-old when spending time with other kids. I have a 3.5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. Our children have no desire to eat any of the sugary synthetic treats because they've never eaten them before, and they have no desire to do so. And hopefully mommy and daddy have done an excellent job in teaching them a proper relationship with food. Teaching my children to eat Smarties and sugar pops and even juice boxes. I'm sorry, guys and girls. Knowing what I know, there's no way I will willingly offer that to my children. That does not mean they will not have a sip one day. That doesn't mean I haven't had a sip during my life. Of course it does. But as a parent, I'm not going to let my child sit in the car with someone who's smoking a cigarette. I will not knowingly allow that. I will not knowingly allow my child to walk past a walkway if someone's sitting in the walkway or the doorway smoking a cigarette. I'm not going to allow my child the opportunity to have one negative, unhealthy interaction. And most people say, hey, man, like that's just the way it is. You can't hide them from the world. It's going to happen anyway. That's a terrible parent right there. Not you. That's a terrible parent, because I hear that quite a bit. It's like, okay, well, let him smoke a cigarette then. Let him have a shot of Jack Daniels. Why not? What, maybe you can go find some meth in town. Maybe you can go and do that. Right? That's the thing. So synthetic chemicals, processed sugar, that's the same in my world. You look at the obesity epidemic, you look at the diabetes epidemic right now. You can look at certain forms of cancer, I would say. You could look at cardiovascular disease. All those are directly linked to lifestyle, which is consumption. The earlier we start teaching our children to eat poorly, the faster we bring about their ultimate demise. That's the way I look at it. I don't find a flaw with that level of thinking. Also, it seems a little harsh, but it's real. And most of the population won't talk like that because they do it too. Is it a good idea to listen to a podcast while working out? Could it be distracting? Yes and no. Yes and no. Like, I listen to some podcast. I love the Dave Ramsey show. I listen to the Dave Ramsey podcast most of the times I work out because it's uplifting. It's educational. I enjoy finance. I enjoy real estate. That keeps me really in a good, positive growth headspace. I don't play that when I'm trying to hit PRs. Then it's the Metallica. Then it's the Wu-Tang Clan. Then it's the kind of 90s rap. 90s metal, that's my default on those big, hard PR days. So I'd say, like, and when I do my walks, when I go for that list, that low intensity, steady state cardiovascular activity, I want no distractions, no earbuds, no conversation. I just want to be alone and let my crazy motherfucking brain talk to itself and work itself out. I don't want anything in my ears. I just try and be a passenger in this body as I'm kind of walking through space and time. That's awesome. In the gym, I like the podcasts. I'll listen to some Rogan sometimes. I'll listen to Shab's podcast. I'll listen to Dave Ramsey by far most of the time. Ben Shapiro, I like his stuff. Just kind of keeps me a little in touch with what happens in the politic world. I'm less and less caring about any of that stuff. There you go. Yes. You shop, you many. I don't know what that means. So no honey buns and ho-hos. Lamont, hell no, my man. No. Do you invest in the stock market at all? We do, but I don't invest in single stocks. I only invest in mutual funds, a wide variety, a diversified portfolio in mutual funds, but also in real estate. Most people don't understand what money is, how to invest your money, how to save your money. Most people don't understand incomes versus outgoes and how to just very simply pay attention to that. You can make $1 million a year, but spend $1.1 million and be broke. You can make $50,000 a year, but spend 20 grand and feel like you're fucking rich. Keep that in mind. A lot of people don't get that. It's not how much you make, it's how much you save. It's how much you have. That's what matters most. And then from an investment perspective, wide diversification is always best. Wide diversification is always best. Be diversified in everywhere, but only in places that have great track records. This is why the Dave Ramsey podcast, the Dave Ramsey Show, does a great job. Dave really does an excellent job breaking this information down at a very basic level that most people can understand. Now, I am not a financial professional, though I did work in the financial markets, in the real estate, the world of real estate taxation for over a decade. So I have a very strong real estate background. I have a very strong mathematics background. I was always honors mathematics and science and all those fun things. That's the way I'm twisted a little bit. So I see the numbers maybe a little bit differently. I'm more comfortable with some of the numbers and the amortization schedules that other people might not really understand. To close, I would say saving is the most important thing, and only investing in areas that have proven track records of 10 years or more and that you understand and are very comfortable with. Dave Ramsey for the win. Hell yeah. The worst cheat meal you would still eat. I have to come back to that. I don't know. Worst cheat meal I would still eat? Probably like banana split in like a pig trough. I would do dirty things. I would do such dirty things. I gotta tell you. Samantha Mang, 52135. When heavier, was able to lose fat, eating out, oat bran, sprouted wheat, etc. Now I don't lift heavy weights, just body weight. Should I limit carbs and fruit veggies to lose that last 10 pounds? Samantha Ming, that's actually an interesting question. I would strongly suggest you go to thedolcediet.com right now and join our 4-week, 3 weeks of shredded program. That's probably just what you need to get you over that little weight loss plateau. That's at thedolcediet.com. That is our 3 weeks of shredded program, Samantha Ming. That would be my strong suggestion because everything is built for you right there. I would lift some weights. By you lifting weights, I guarantee you will get leaner. You will get curvier. You will feel better. You will look better. You will feel stronger. You will be more energized. You will be burning more calories just because you're lifting slightly heavier weights with perfect form. Not going crazy, not powerlifting, slightly heavier weights for 12 to 15 reps with perfect form. Training until muscular failure, technical breakdown, we call it. When the weight starts to like shake a little bit, that's time to end the set. Not until you're almost crushed. That's failure. We don't train to failure. We train to technical breakdown, specifically the ladies we work with. Form is everything, but carve, shape, sculpt that body, keep the metabolism revving. But Samantha, check out thedolcediet.com. I think that's going to be amazing for you. Use my promo code Dolce10 at checkout. Aaron Perez, is Derek Lewis versus Daniel Cormier coming soon? I could see that. I could see that 2 fights from now. I could see that. Ben Shapiro is overrated. You know, there's lots and lots and lots of things I don't agree with that Ben Shapiro talks about. I kind of like his dry wit. I see it almost as like entertaining comedy in the way. I think he's actually he's a funny guy. I appreciate his humor. But I think at the very least what Ben Shapiro's show does, more so than most of the other, because I listen to all the shows on the left, shows on the right, shows down the middle, or I used to anyway. I think what Shapiro does, he does the better job of presenting both sides of a conversation more so than the others. And I think he's definitely still biased on the conservative side, but at least I feel like there's a little more honesty coming through with his editorialization of these news events. And I only have a little bit of time. I only get like 20 minutes 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so to listen to a little bit of this politics stuff during the day. So Ben's usually one. I'll flip over to Fox News. I'll do like a day of Fox News, a day of CNN, a day of like a Ben Shapiro or a podcast or something like that. And then usually I just kind of disappear for the rest of the week, just stare at the ceiling and cry. I love when people give me crazy looks at the checkout counter at the grocery store because I have only plants and meat and other people have carts full of poison. I know they look at you like you're the weirdo. Look at this weirdo. All that real food in is what's he even thinking? How does he even make that? Ooh, in and out, in and out, in and out. Lamont, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Me neither. How important is college? College is not important at all. Education is. Some people earn great education by not going to college. I know Mike Rose, it has an institute or has a movement that really talks about people learning more about trades and crafts. Very important. Think about your electrician. Think about your contractor. Think about your carpenter. Think about your plumber. Many of those, most of those did not go to college to learn their trade or craft. Most of those could not learn their trade or craft in college. Most people in college cannot even come close to doing what these craftsmen and tradesmen do. So it's a matter of education. Really, what are you looking to do? That matters. If you're looking to become an accountant, I would strongly suggest you go to a high quality, higher level institution that has a great accounting program. At least you have that on your resume so you have an overall understanding. If you're going to be a school teacher, a very noble trade, you definitely should go and do that. If you're going to be a police officer, I would suggest you enter the military instead of going to college. Enter the military and then go to law enforcement. Some go to college and then to law enforcement. Depends on what side you want to be. Probably they want to be on the administrative side, but I think you get much more real world education being in the military than you actually do in college if you want to be in law enforcement. That's just an example. To be in the health and fitness world, you can go either ways. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people with great degrees and all sorts of academic credentials next to their name that are simply deplorable when it comes to eliciting results from their clients. They know all the theory, they can answer all the questions, but when it comes down to programming or motivating another human being, they simply don't know what to do. Conversely, I know coaches who barely can speak the English language that work with only English-speaking clients and crush their goals with zero college and some even zero high school, because all they know and all they do is physique transformation, let's say, or performance. And that could go a million different ways. You look at some of the top athletes in mixed martial arts, and you can see that many of those have achieved a high level of pedigree of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. They're making 6-figure, 7-figure incomes simply with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academic background or education. They never went to a 4-year university or accredited academy school. They learned on mats. So to answer your question, it really depends on what you're trying to do, but don't waste your time. How much cardio do you recommend? 30 to 60 minutes, 3 to 5 days per week on average. Marius, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give your 30 and 20-year-old self regarding diet, training, finance, family, any aspect of life? If I could go back to my 20-year-old self, I would jump compounding interest, Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, maximizing a diversified portfolio in mutual funds that are growing tax-free or near tax-free. The earlier, the better. That would be the first most important thing. The next thing, which is part and parcel to this, is having zero consumer debt. No debt, no leases, no loan, no mortgages, no credit cards. I have zero. I have a zero credit score, guys and girls, a zero credit score. That is on purpose. Why is that? Because I have zero loans. I have zero leases. I have zero mortgages. I have zero debts. I owe nobody nothing. Nothing. My home, my cars, everything, my desk, my cell phone, everything. I bought my cell phone outright. Like I didn't get hooked into the, well, just pay $25 a month. No, I'm buying it. I own everything. I own everything, all my stuff, and you should too. And so that means zero debt. In order to have a perfect credit score, you need to have somewhat like $100,000 in consumer debt, not including your mortgage, right? So I have to be $100,000 in debt in order to have a good credit score that allows me to borrow more money? No, thank you. No, thank you. I would rather have nothing and no debt than have a home that's owned by the bank. And that's a whole nother conversation that I will cover in our upcoming book that does touch on finances. And this is going to get some people mad, but it's true. If you have a mortgage, you don't own your house, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a mortgage, you do not own your house. The bank owns your house. And people say, that's not true. That's my house. Oh, yeah? Look at what happened in 2008, 2009, 2010. What happened? The bank took the homes from millions and millions of Americans. that they thought, but that was my house. I bought it 5 years ago, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. And the bank came in and took it after you made payments for 10 plus years. The bank owns the house. You don't own the house. You need to think about that. Same thing with a car. You lease a car, you rent a car, you buy a car on loan, on finance, and it's a 6-year loan, and you're paying off, paying off, paying off. 5 years and 6 months in, you miss a payment, you miss a second payment, you miss a third payment. Repo man comes, takes your car, boom, gone. I'd rather drive a $1,000 Beater, have that parked in my driveway with the keys in the ignition, no fears that anybody's going to come and take it. That's the way I lived, actually. And I do talk about that. That's the way I lived. That's the way we lived. A $10 plastic picnic table for 6 months is my kitchen table when we moved to Portland, Oregon in 2004 so I could be the head strength coach of Team Quest. I drove a 1992 Buick Regal. 1992 Buick Regal is a grandma's car, white with neon red, like sofa seating. That's what I drove for years. That's the car I actually drove into Las Vegas after. So that was what, for 5 years, 4 or 5 years. That's the car I drove as I was grinding. When you knew me as the famous Dolce diet guy, I was driving a 1992 Buick Regal. My wife was driving a 2005 Kia Spectra with roll-down windows. Roll-down windows. No power windows, no power locks. That's how we were living, practicing what we preach. We left Las Vegas in vastly different cars, let me tell you, and they were bought for cash because we saved for them all the way up. That's strong. So that's answering your question here. Some people will take that. Some people will disregard me, but it's true. It's true. Put yourself first. Put yourself first. Put yourself first. Pay yourself first. What kind of punishment do you think Khabib will get? $250,000 and 6 months suspension. Love from Chicago. Getting gear. Thank you. Badis. Hey, Mike, is Durham wheat semolina healthy? Well, it's all depends. A little bit here and there in your pasta, power pasta. I'm not mad about that. Neither will you. You'll probably actually feel pretty good. You eat it 2-3 times a week. Now we're going to get in some trouble. For most people. A simple question. Is it better to ride a bike and take care of the condition or have varicose veins from this sport? Orfeo Tube, I apologize. I don't know. I don't have any context for your question. That's not a field that I work in. And I don't have any experience in that area. So I'm the wrong guy to ask. My apologies there. I don't know. I would assume that you're a cyclist and you're having some issues. I would say number one is go to your doctor. Talk to your doctor first, of course, and make sure everything medically is sound, and then get your doctor's recommendation, and then start seeking out industry-specific professionals, maybe a physical therapist who works directly with cyclists. That would be a good, second step. What's your new book? Looking forward to picking it up. I will tell you soon. TBA, to be announced. But it's pretty awesome. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. There's still the nutrition stuff in there and training stuff, but definitely more lifestyle. I think ZG is going to be on talking about, I hope so. I hope so. Just give him enough rope. That's all. Just give him enough rope. And you guys are so smart. You'll understand. I appreciate all you guys for being here. I was going to do 10 minutes, and here we are at 57 minutes. So we are back, going live, dropping bombs, hopefully helping you guys, answering your questions. Remember, I am at a secret black site right now, 40 miles below the Earth's surface. It is crazy. I don't know when they will let me out, but hopefully they will soon. I'm pretty actually impressed at the Wi-Fi signal we were able to get down here, which is insane. But that being said, you guys are awesome. I will be back tomorrow. Check out our Twitter at The Dolce Diet. Check out our Instagram at The Dolce Diet. Check out the new Mike Dolce Show podcast drops today. We are back. Hiatus is over. The new Mike Dolce Show podcast drops today. So be looking for it. Check it out. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm saying. Click on the notifications and all that fun stuff. And go to thedolcediet.com for your own 4-week or 12-week personalized healthy weight loss program. It's the best out there, guys. Until next time, boom.